Exposed, how a little girl's heartwarming words transformed a rejected bride's life forever. Claire never imagined that at 32, she would be picking up the pieces of a shattered dream. The wedding she once envisioned was just weeks away when her fiancé dropped the bombshell, shattering her world. The vibrant wedding planner, known for her infectious laughter and boundless joy, now carried the weight of failure like a haunting shadow. She felt raw, exposed, and desperately lost. Not just a broken bride, a broken person. As she wandered the quaint streets of her small town, her spirit dimmed, she noticed whispers following her like storm clouds. Friends turned to acquaintances, and sympathetic smiles felt more like pity than support. But amidst the spiraling sadness, her family became her fortress. They wrapped around her like a blanket, offering love that was warm and unyielding. This pain led Claire to the local community center, seeking solace among children who, unlike her, hadn't yet learned the cruelty of disappointment. It was there that she met Mia, a wide-eyed 7-year-old whose imagination danced like fairies. Mia's world, however, was cloaked in shadows. The recent separation of her parents hung over her like a thick fog. Yet, her spirit remained bright, filled with dreams of princesses and happy endings. "What's the saddest thing ever?" Mia asked Claire one day while they were finger-painting. Claire hesitated, her heart aching. "A cancelled wedding," she whispered, tears brimming. In that moment, a connection sparked, a fragile thread weaving their sorrow into shared understanding. Mia glanced up, her eyes brightening. "Your wedding can still be a fairy tale. Just maybe it's a different one now." Her words wrapped around Claire's heart. It was as if Mia had opened a window, letting in fresh air and light. There was beauty in new beginnings. As weeks melted into days, they molded an incredible friendship, with Claire guiding Mia through arts and crafts while Mia unknowingly breathed life back into Claire's shattered dreams. But with fresh hope came the ruthless scrutiny of the townsfolk. The charity gala, an event Claire once thrived on, sent her an email of rejection. It stung, leaving her breathless. Just as she began feeling a sense of renewal, whispers filled the air, those same voices she thought silenced. How could she get involved again? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Standing on the creaky floor of the community center, Claire felt the crowd's eyes pierce into her soul. Should she let their judgments define her? The thought made her heart race. Suddenly, Mia's voice echoed in her mind, a reminder to embrace her unique spirit. It was now or never. As Claire stepped forward, every person in the room seemed to hold their breath. She had something to say, a truth to share that resonated deep within. Would these words free her from the chains of expectation? The atmosphere buzzed with anticipation, and Claire's pulse quickened. She was ready to reclaim her place in the world, ready to be heard. Claire took a deep breath, her heart thumping wildly in her chest. The room felt heavy and still, as if time had paused just for her. She scanned the faces around her, some familiar, others strangers, but all watching intently. Doubt crept in like a cold breeze, but she pushed it away. I want to talk about loss, Claire began, her voice trembling slightly at first. It can feel as if the world has ended when something you love is taken away. A few heads nodded. She saw Mia's innocent gaze, filled with encouragement, and it ignited a spark within her. At first, I thought my wedding was everything. It was going to be the happiest day of my life. But when that dream crumbled, it left me feeling empty. Those whispered sentiments echoed in the crowd, a ripple it seemed they all felt. She continued, but through that pain, I found a different kind of hope. With each day, I learned that sometimes what feels like an ending can actually be a beginning. A wave of nervousness washed over her, yet there was newfound strength in her words. I found joy again in unexpected places, in the laughter of children, in the creativity that flowed from simple art supplies, and in a wise little girl who reminded me there's still magic if you choose to look for it. Her voice steadied, and she locked eyes with Mia, who beamed proudly. I'm standing here today because I refuse to let fear dictate my story anymore. I want to be part of my community, I want to give back. Claire took a step closer to the crowd, her energy expanding as she spoke. I want to organize a celebratory event, one that embraces love in all its forms, celebrating joy and connection beyond the ordinary. If we learned anything from our struggles, it's that life is fleeting, and we need to cherish it together. A murmur swept through the room, and to her surprise, she saw smiles breaking through once pinched expressions. It felt as if a weight lifted, not just from her but from the room. Encouragement sparked and flickered like tiny candles igniting in the dark. Will you join me? She couldn't believe she was asking, but it felt freeing to extend a hand. Let's make something beautiful happen together. Someone in the back clapped, and before she realized it, applause erupted. The warmth swept over her like sunlight, filling the cracks in her heart. She grinned, laughter spilling forth as she realized she had done it. She had spoken her truth aloud, and the world didn't crumble. Instead, it rallied around her. Amidst the cheers, Claire caught Mia's gaze and winked, a silent bond affirming they would continue to create magic. But with every breath of hope, Claire felt the shadow of self-doubt creeping back in. What if the gala didn't go as planned? What if she stumbled again? But then a thought hit her. She had weathered storms before. This was just another chance to rise. As the applause grew louder, Claire closed her eyes, feeling her heart swell with promise. Days later, she stood in front of a blank canvas. She could almost see the event taking shape, the laughter, the colors, the joy. Then a sudden wave of anxiety crashed over her. What if no one shows up? She gasped, her fingers trembling. But as if answering her question, a tiny tap on her shoulder made her turn. It was Mia, cupping a bright bouquet of daisies in her tiny hands. Don't worry, Claire. I'll be there, and so will the fairies. A laugh bubbled up, and for the first time in a long while, she truly felt alive, as if she had a chance to reclaim her life. Yet, just as Claire began to dream big, a sudden knock on her door broke her thoughts, bringing her back to reality. Who could it be? Claire's heart raced, a mixture of hope and dread. What news awaited her on the other side? Claire took a deep breath and steadied herself, pushing down the flutter of fear in her stomach. The knock sounded again, louder this time, almost insistent. What could be on the other side of that door? With cautious steps, she moved toward it, her thoughts racing. Was it an invitation to more heartache, or could it be a sign of the support she craved? She opened the door slowly, revealing a man in a crisp, blue shirt and a genuine smile. Hi. I'm Mark from the community center, he said cheerfully. I heard about the gala you're organizing, and I'd love to help. Claire blinked, her mind momentarily freezing. You want to help? The word surfaced with surprise. She'd imagined trouble or resistance, never a friendly face full of enthusiasm. Absolutely. I volunteer at the community center, and we're all about uplifting events that bring us together. I thought I could pitch and maybe help with the logistics. Her heart lifted. This wasn't just someone offering help, it was someone who truly believed in her vision. That would be amazing. Claire found herself smiling widely, excitement bubbling again like a freshly opened soda. I have a ton of ideas, but I'm a little lost on where to start. Mark chuckled, leaning casually against the door frame, seeming to soak in Claire's energy. Great. Let us talk it all out. We can make a plan, figure out volunteers, maybe even approach local businesses for sponsorship. Every little bit helps. As they dove into conversation, Claire's worries began to dissolve. The creative flow was infectious, and she felt a weight lifted from her shoulders. They brainstormed everything from decorations to themes, and each suggestion spun new possibilities like a colorful yarn weaving together a tapestry. Just as they finalized a few ideas, a sudden ruckus erupted outside. Claire and Mark exchanged glances, curiosity piquing. They stepped to the window and gasped at the sight. A crowd had gathered outside, children playing, adults chatting, and a few people setting up tables and chairs as if a small celebration was underway. "Wow, that wasn't there before," Claire murmured. It felt as though her hope had leaped right into the streets, breathing life into everything around them. "It looks like the community is already rallying," Mark exclaimed, excitement lighting up his features. "Maybe the word spread faster than we thought." Claire felt a surge of hope. "Maybe they're ready to celebrate with us. It's time to embrace love and joy." As they turned back to continue planning, another tap echoed at the door. Before Claire could react, Mia barged in, her excitement palpable as she twirled around with the daisies still clutched in her tiny hands. "Guess what? Everyone's coming over to help you get ready for the gala." Claire's heart swelled with gratitude and disbelief, tears brimming at the corners of her eyes. "Mia, this is incredible." Mia grinned, her small face lit up as if she understood the magic in the air. "We're gonna make it the best." Claire turned back to Mark, feeling an exhilarating rush of purpose. They couldn't just sit back. They had to dive in, to rally together, to fuel this spark into a flame that lit up more than just the event. And just like that, Claire felt her life shifting, opening wide to a future filled with promise. But even as confidence flooded her heart, shadows of the past loomed, waiting to test her resolve. "Just as my life felt renewed, I had no idea the struggles ahead would grow even more challenging." The uncertainty hung heavily as Claire looked at the joyous chaos outside. What awaited her as she dove deeper into her project? Would she remain strong when faced with trials, or would she falter under the weight of her past? The answers loomed ahead, but she had made a choice to embrace what was to come. Claire's pulse quickened as the excitement outside swelled. This was no longer just her dream, it had morphed into a community vision. She turned to Mia and Mark. "Let us go greet them. We need to bring everyone in." Mark nodded, his enthusiasm mirroring Claire's. They rushed outside, where the fresh air was filled with laughter and the sweet scent of baked goods. Families had set up colorful blankets on the grass, a small table covered with cookies and lemonade stood invitingly, and children were darting around like fireflies in the dusk. "Hey, everyone!" Claire called out, her voice rising above the cheerful clamor. "We're gearing up for something big, and we need your help." The crowd quieted, curiosity replacing laughter, and they turned towards her. Claire felt a surge of nerves but pushed through. "We're organizing a gala to celebrate our community. It's going to be a night of joy, friendship, and love. We can't do this alone. I want every one of you to be part of it." Murmurs of excitement rippled through the gathering, and a few hands shot up. "What can we do?" One woman called, her eyes glinting with interest. Claire smiled. "We need volunteers for decorations, food, setting up tables, and all sorts of things. Every little bit helps, and I'll make sure everyone has fun in the process." Mark stepped forward, eager energy radiating from him. "Let us create a sign-up sheet right here. Everyone can pick what they want to help with." He began scribbling on a clipboard borrowed from a nearby table. As family members and friends swarmed around, Claire felt the pressure of the past ease its grasp on her. For the first time in a long time, hope felt tangible, not just a fleeting emotion but a force that bound them together. Mia tugged at Claire's shirt, her eyes wide with admiration. "You did it, Claire. They all want to help." "Thank you, Mia," Claire said softly, kneeling to embrace her. "You've inspired me in ways I can't explain." Just then, an older man with a gray beard stepped forward, leaning on a cane. "You know, I used to run the annual fair around here. It brought the whole town together. I never thought we could do something like that again." His voice trembled slightly, yet the hope in his eyes sparked something deeper in Claire. A wave of determination washed over her. Then let us bring it back. Together. This gala can be the beginning of our community's resurgence. Cheers erupted from the crowd, hands clapping and voices rising high. As people began resurfacing with unique talents, musicians, artists, even an amateur magician, Claire's mind raced with possibilities. The challenges that loomed behind her began to grow dim in the wake of collective energy that surrounded her. Just as Claire began to relish the momentum, a stranger approached. He was tall, with an air of authority that commanded attention, his brow creased in a way that suggested he had something serious to say. Without preamble, he looked Claire directly in the eyes. "I heard about your gala, and I need to talk to you. There's something important you should know." The vibrant buzz around her dulled as uncertainty returned. This stranger's presence felt like a storm cloud approaching her sunny day. What could he want? The air grew thick with tension, contrasting sharply with the earlier joy. "What is it?" Claire asked, her voice steady, but her heart started racing again, fueled by both fear and curiosity. The eyes in the crowd turned toward this unexpected visitor, registering the shift in the atmosphere. Claire held her breath, bracing for what was about to unfold. The man took a step closer, his gaze unwavering. "My name is Jonah. I'm the new councilman, and we've received some complaints about your plans for the gala." The words hit Claire like a brick. Complaints? She felt heat rise to her cheeks. What kind of complaints? Jonah sighed, his expression softening. "Some folks are worried that the gala will leave others out. They think it's too ambitious, too loud. I'm here to help you address these concerns." A ripple of murmurs swept through the crowd. Claire's heart sank. She glanced at Mia and Mark, their faces showing confusion. How could anyone resist something so good? "Let the naysayers speak," Mark attempted to interject, determination steady in his voice. "This is about coming together, about healing. They need to see that." Jonah nodded, appreciating Mark's passion. "I agree. But we have to ensure everyone feels included if this is truly going to work. Let us set up a town meeting next week, a chance for the community to voice their opinions, and you can share your vision." Claire took a deep breath, her chest tightening. "I understand, but this gala is meant to unite us, not complicate things." "You're right," Jonah replied gently. "But remember, sometimes the loudest voices are the ones that need to be heard the most." The reality of the situation sank in. Could their dream be shadowed by fear? Just then, a little girl tugged at Claire's skirt. It was Sarah, the shy daughter of Claire's neighbor. She stepped forward, her small face filled with determination. "I think the gala is a great idea," she piped up. "Everybody should have a party. Parties mean fun. And cookies." Laughter spread through the group, lightening the mood. Claire knelt down to Sarah's level. "You think so? Why is it so important?" "Because my mommy said we needed more things to smile about," Sarah declared, her eyes shining bright with innocence. Claire felt a warmth bloom in her chest. How could anyone doubt the power of a smiles and cookies? Sarah's words stirred something deep within her. They were hurting and struggling, but they still held hope, just like Claire had to believe in hope. Jonah shifted, visibly impressed. "That's the spirit. We need to remember that the best things come from the smallest voices." The crowd murmured in agreement, and Claire seized the moment. "All right. We can have the meeting, but let me promise you this: we will create a gala that celebrates everyone, one that will make our community proud." "Absolutely." Mia cheered, her encouragement echoing the crowd's enthusiasm. The chill began to lift from Claire's mind, replaced by a renewed sense of purpose. Claire looked at Jonah, her resolve solidifying. "Let us do this, then. Together." The cheer that erupted was thunderous, a promise of unity vibrating in the air. Yet, as Claire basked in the moment, she couldn't shake the feeling that Jonah's warning was merely the first of many hurdles they would face. Would the doubts of others threaten their dreams? She had a feeling this was just the beginning. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Claire stood among her friends, heart racing, ready to battle for her vision. What would the town meeting reveal? Would they rally together or pull apart? The following week felt like a lifetime. Claire spent each day fine-tuning her vision, working with Mia and Mark to prepare for the town meeting. Ideas bounced around like fireflies on a summer night: food stalls, a talent show, local art displays, all meant to draw people together, to heal the wounds of their community. As the meeting approached, Claire's excitement turned bittersweet. She could already picture the naysayers, the worry etched into their faces as they deliberated over the changes the gala represented. She imagined them sitting in the back, arms crossed defiantly, convinced they couldn't be swayed. The night of the meeting, the community hall buzzed with energy. The air was thick with anticipation, the scent of coffee and baked goods wafting from a table at the back. As Claire looked out at the sea of faces, she felt a knot twist in her stomach. Jonah stood by her side, a calming presence amid her nervousness. "Just breathe," he whispered, and Claire nodded. He looked at her with understanding, as if sensing her anxiety. The crowd gradually filled the seats, murmurs blending into a low hum. Claire's heart raced as more familiar faces appeared: neighbors, friends, and some she'd only seen from a distance. When the meeting officially began, Jonah welcomed everyone, establishing a sense of camaraderie that filled the hall. "Tonight, we are here to discuss the upcoming gala and how we can involve everyone in our community," he started, his voice steady and encouraging. Claire felt her pulse quicken as she prepared to speak. She stepped forward, gripping the edge of the podium. "Thank you all for coming. I know there have been concerns about the gala. But I promise you, this event isn't just a party, it's a chance for us to come together." Her voice grew stronger, fueled by the little girl's words that replayed in her mind. "I envision a celebration where everyone can have fun, where laughter replaces sorrow, and where we celebrate our strengths together." The assembly remained mostly quiet, some heads nodding, others furrowed with doubt. Claire pressed on, recalling how Sarah's beautiful innocence had illuminated the truth she'd been searching for. "We have all experienced so much together, but we can't let fear decide who we are. We need to focus on the joy, on the way parties bring light in moments of darkness." A woman from the back stood, her arms crossed tightly. "And what if it just becomes a loud distraction? What if it's just for those who can afford to participate? What about us?" Claire could feel the tension in the air. She turned to Jonah for a moment, then back to the woman. "I understand your concerns. But this gala is for everyone, not just a select few. We want to ensure all voices are heard. Everyone can help, can contribute. Even you." The murmurs shifted, a wave of contemplation washing over the crowd. Just then, a familiar soft voice broke through. "I still think it's a great idea." It was Sarah, still radiating that innocent confidence. "Everyone wants to be happy. Cookies and dancing." Laughter erupted, easing the tension. Claire's heart swelled, and she let it guide her next words. "Exactly. It's about enjoyment, connection, and hope." People glanced at one another, expressions softening. The more Claire spoke, her words igniting a shimmering flame of possibility, the closer she felt to realizing her dream. As the discussions unfolded, Claire sensed a shift in the room. The initial resistance melted away, replaced by a willingness to embrace collaboration. They were beginning to imagine the potential together. Just as they wrapped up, Jonah caught Claire's eye, an unspoken acknowledgement passing between them. She had done it. But would the changes they discussed truly be embraced? Would they find a way to bridge the gaps that still lingered? As the attendees began to disperse, Claire felt buoyed by something different. Hope, blooming stubbornly in the cracks of tight fists. Would Sarah's infectious spirit continue to rally those still hesitant? Claire took a deep breath, remembering that this was just the beginning. There was much more work to be done, and she could feel change coursing through the air, palpable and electric. What more would they uncover? What hidden fears lay beneath the surface ready to challenge everything they had built? The days that followed the town meeting felt like they shifted in fast forward. Claire dove into preparations for the gala with a renewed sense of purpose. Each morning, the sun felt brighter, the world outside her window alive with possibilities. Conversations buzzed with excitement, and people who had once stood on the sidelines were now stepping up, eager to contribute. As she walked through the local farmers' market on Saturday, Claire spotted Mia and Mark setting up a booth to sign up volunteers. They waved her over, their enthusiasm infectious. "We're getting people in. It's amazing how the word spreads," Mia exclaimed, her eyes sparkling. "It's true," Mark chimed in. "We're already forming teams for food, decorations, and even a talent show. People want to help." Encouraged, Claire helped them set up, sharing smiles and laughter with familiar faces. There was a sense of community she hadn't fully appreciated before. Each person who approached had a story, a willingness to give a piece of themselves to this shared vision, but not everyone was convinced. The woman from the meeting, Karen, remained a voice of caution. Claire saw her talking quietly with a few others nearby, their expressions serious. A twinge of apprehension gnawed at Claire. Had they truly bridged the gap, or was it a thin ice, ready to crack? "Claire, can we chat?" Mia interrupted her thoughts, pulling her aside. "I just got off the phone with a few potential sponsors. We might not be able to afford the big sound system we wanted." Claire's heart sank. "What do you think we should do?" Mia shrugged, looking deflated. "Maybe we scale down. The focus is the community, right? Not the show?" "That's true, but it doesn't mean we can't dream big." Claire's voice trembled with the weight of it all. "If we lower our standards, we might send the wrong message." Mia nodded but hesitated. "We don't want to make people feel excluded." Claire didn't reply immediately. She felt the pressure of responsibility, the weight of uncertainty. She wanted to be ambitious, to strive for excellence, but every option felt like a gamble. It was then that she caught sight of Sarah, the little girl, joyfully munching on a cookie, laughter bubbling up from her like a melody. It hit her, this wasn't just a big event, it was about the laughter, the connections, and the memories they would create. "Here's what we'll do," Claire said, her determination flooding back. "Let us put up a fundraiser. People can pitch in, even a little, to help us cover costs. We'll make it fun, a mini gala to promote the big one." "Brilliant idea!" Mia exclaimed, her spirit rekindled. Mark jumped in. "Let us get it announced at the church this weekend. I know Pastor Gregory will rally support for it." Excitement built like a wave as they brainstormed details. Claire felt the fear dissipate, replaced with an urgency to act. Once the plan was set in motion, Claire noticed that even the most hesitant members of the community began to express tentative enthusiasm. Sarah's laughter fueled their ambition, and Claire could hardly wait to share the news at their next meeting, but still, there lingered an uncertainty. Fears remained buried, waiting for the right moment to resurface. Would the willingness to collaborate withstand real challenges? As the weeks hurried by, Claire sensed the tempo picking up, each beat drawing them closer to the gala. Yet in the back of her mind, a whisper persistently reminded her of the tension still simmering beneath the surface. Clarity danced just out of reach. What unexpected hurdles might rise to meet them as they pressed forward? Would their dreams endure, or would doubt pull them back just when they were ready to leap into something extraordinary? The week leading up to the fundraiser felt electric. Claire rose each morning with a renewed sense of excitement, her heart quickening at the thought of the community's participation. Flyers adorned every corner of the town, and the buzz in the cafe was palpable. People were discussing the mini gala with such fervor, she could hardly believe it. As Claire set up for the event in the local community center, she felt an air of possibility swirling around her. She hardly noticed the weight of doubt lurking in the background as she organized tables, stringed lights, and colorful decorations. "Look at this place," Mia said, her voice bursting with joy as she walked in, hands on her hips. "It's going to be amazing." Just then, Sarah zipped into the room, her curly hair bouncing as she jingled down the hall. "Miss Claire! Miss Claire!" she shouted, coming to a stop at Claire's feet. "I told my mommy, and she said I can help with the cookies." Sarah's excited face lit up, and Claire couldn't help but smile. "That's wonderful, Sarah. The more, the merrier. Cookies are so important for our event. Can I make a heart-shaped one for you?" the little girl asked, her large eyes shimmering with sincerity. Claire knelt to meet her gaze. "You can make the best heart-shaped cookie, and I would absolutely love it." As Sarah bounced away, Claire felt a warmth spread through her heart. This little girl, with her innocent enthusiasm, ignited something inside her. It felt more than a fundraiser, it was a way to build connections that mattered, to create warmth like that cookie's sweetness, yet, even in the light of that joy, the corners of Claire's mind remained shadowed by doubt. The unruly tension from Karen and her crew hadn't disappeared. Claire caught sight of them whispering in the corner as if watching and waiting for failure. The worry clawed at Claire's gut. What if her dreams collapsed on this very night? But then, the fundraising gala began. The room filled with people, their laughter rising and mingling with the warm, fresh scents of baked goods and delicious treats. Claire took a deep breath, feeding off the joy around her. As Mark grabbed the microphone, Claire felt her heart racing. Would they come together as she hoped? "We did it!" Mark shouted into the mic. "Tonight is about us, about our community pulling together." The crowd erupted in cheers, and Claire felt a surge of pride. She had grown a deep love for these people. Each face held a story, a connection that made them a part of something greater. In the chaos of excitement, Claire spotted Mia illuminating the talent show stage, and Sarah, holding a heart-shaped cookie, beamed up at her. Claire felt an overwhelming wave of gratitude. But just when Claire believed they could overcome anything, a loud crash echoed through the hall. The sound of clinking metal met the buzzing joy, drawing everyone's attention. Claire's heart dropped as she turned to see Karen storming toward the stage, fuming, her group close behind. "What is going on?" Mia whispered urgently, her eyes wide, but Claire could only stare. Would the evening's successes unravel under the weight of opposition? Could they hold their community together in this moment? Before she could respond, Karen raised her voice above the murmurs. "This isn't what we agreed on, and I won't let this dream spiral out of control." Claire's breath caught in her throat. This wasn't just a challenge, it was a test of everything she had built. "Everyone deserves a voice, Karen," Claire said, pulling in her courage. "Tonight is about unity, not division. Let us talk." As the tension hovered in the air, the path ahead felt uncertain, and Claire knew this would be the moment that would define everything. Would they unite, or fracture under pressure? Claire's pulse quickened as she faced Karen, her heart a tangle of emotions. Around her, the atmosphere shifted, crackling with nervous energy. Some faces turned worryingly expectant, while others brimmed with solidarity, glancing back and forth between the two women. "You're ruining everything," Karen shouted, her voice rising above the murmurs. "This is supposed to be a fundraiser, not a platform for your personal agenda." With that, the cheering crowd seemed to still. Claire scanned the room, and for the first time, the excitement felt like a delicate glass sculpture, beautiful, but easily shattered. "Karen, this isn't about me," Claire countered, fighting to keep her voice steady. "It's about all of us. This is our chance to come together and support each other. We need to show everyone that we care." Somewhere in the back, she spotted Sarah, a tiny figure next to a table stacked with cookies, clasping her precious heart-shaped creation. The sight pulled at Claire's heartstrings, reminding her of the little girl's sincerity. It was this spirit of hope Claire wanted to nurture. Look at the joy we've created, can't we focus on that? Karen's frown deepened, her closed posture reflecting her resistance. But as silence stretched between them, Claire breathed in. She felt a flicker of vulnerability rise within her, down to her core. If she could become vulnerable, perhaps Karen could too. I know you're frustrated, Claire began gently. But we're all here because we want to make a difference. You have the power to change lives, just like I do. Please, let us find a way to work together. There it was, a spark of something fear, maybe even understanding flickering in Karen's eyes. The tension faded slightly, the air less potent. Participants whispered amongst themselves, the crowd's murmurs dancing between anticipation and concern. Mark, sensing the weight of the moment, stepped closer to the microphone. Look, we got children here. They're watching us. Let us show them how adults can solve problems together. Several in the crowd nodded, their faces reflecting determination mixed with compassion. Claire felt a softening, a bridge being built right under the dimmed lights. We lift each other up, not tear each other down. Mia chimed in, her voice ringing clear above the softening tension. Suddenly, Sarah burst forth, heart-shaped cookie raised high. Can we all be friends? I want everyone to smile. Her innocent declaration wrapped around the tension like a lifeline. Laughter broke through, scattering the heaviness in the room. Claire caught sight of Karen's expression, the crack in her armor widening. For a heartbeat, everything hung suspended in the air while Claire dared to hope. Could this be the turning point? You know what? Karen finally said, her voice softening. Maybe tonight we can try something new. Claire stepped forward, heart soaring. That's all I've ever wanted. As the crowd erupted into hesitant applause, Claire felt a wave of relief wash over her. There was still work to do, but they had opened a dialogue. Sarah's enthusiasm had ignited something different, something bold yet fragile. Amid this unexpected shift, as Claire glanced at the children laughing and the community slowly uniting, the evening transformed before her very eyes. But as the applause filled the hall, another crash echoed from the back, unseen. Wait! A voice yelled. This isn't over yet. Claire's heart sank. She had thought they were turning a corner, but what awaited them next? The hall fell silent, and all eyes turned to the figure emerging from the shadows, a tall, stern man with folded arms who bore an air of authority. It was Councilman Jonah's daunting rival, a man eager to stoke the fire of dissent and division among the crowd. Claire braced herself, caught in a whirlwind of emotions. What do you mean it's not over? Jonah demanded, stepping protectively before Claire. Claire's heart raced. Would this be the fracture she feared? I mean, you think this gala will solve everything? The man's voice dripped with skepticism. You're deluding yourselves if you think a party can turn this community around. You don't even know what people genuinely want. Mitch, that's not true, Jonah interjected, glancing toward Claire for support. People are already coming together because of this event. It's more than just a party. It's about healing. Mitch chuckled darkly, shaking his head. You call this a healing? All I see are moments postponed and smiles propped on false wishes. Let us face it, the town is still divided. The tension thickened, hardening the air like a sudden storm. Claire felt her stomach tighten in fear. Would this man undo all the hard work they'd done? She took a deep breath, her mind racing for the right words. Everyone deserves a safe space to express their pain and their hopes, Claire spoke, her voice rising above the murmurs. This gala is where we gather to celebrate who we are and what we can be, together. It's our chance to listen to each other. The crowd responded with low murmurs of agreement, but Claire could see Mitch was unfazed. He stepped closer, his gaze piercing through the tension. Your dream will crumble. Just like that, Mitch snapped, snapping his fingers. And when it does, you'll all realize that you can't just paint over the cracks. They need to be mended. Then let us begin to mend them, Claire countered passionately. We can't do it if we keep pointing fingers. We need to unite. Let us support each other instead of spreading doubt. At that moment, young Sarah, emboldened by the heated exchange, ran toward Claire, holding her heart-shaped cookie high. But Miss Claire believes in us. And I believe in cookies. Cookies bring people together. Laughter erupted, echoing around the crowd like a sunbeam breaking through clouds. The earnest innocence of a child stitched a fragile thread of hope across the room. See? Claire ventured, seizing the opportunity. Sarah's right. We each have something to offer. It's not just about the gala, it's about the people we bring together, the smiles that uplift us when we're down. Mitch's demeanor faltered, and Claire pressed on, fueled by an inner fire. Mitch, every time we isolate ourselves, we lose something precious. Together, we can be stronger, kinder, and more alive. This gala isn't the end, it's just the beginning of meaningful connections. If it can spark even a single conversation, isn't that worth it? The crowd started nodding, whispers growing into a chorus of agreement. Claire's heart raced as hopeful eyes met her gaze, illuminating a path forward. Let us use this event to bridge our differences. Claire ignited, feeling invincible amidst the mounting support. To find common ground, to remember that our strengths lie in unity. Every single person matters. As she finished speaking, the hall vibrated with a renewed sense of energy. The applause that followed felt like thunder echoing through the rafters, shaking off the shadows of doubt. Mitch stood at the edge, visibly shaken but unwilling to back down completely. You may win tonight, Claire, but don't think for 1 second that this is over. Yet as he retreated, something shifted in the air. What once felt like a fracture had begun to heal. Claire could feel the warmth of the community surrounding her. Even amongst chaos, they had stood firm, committed to nurturing their vision for change. As laughter resumed, Claire felt tears prick her eyes. She caught sight of Sarah, the heart-shaped cookie still clasped tightly, eyes sparkling with joy. And suddenly, a weight lifted. The whispers of doubt began to fade into the background, replaced by a chant of unity, of hope and connection. They would rise together, face challenges together, and embrace each other's truths. Never doubt what we can achieve together. Claire raised her voice, and the crowd echoed her sentiment. With newfound determination, they would turn this gala into a celebration that not only lit up their town but rekindled the warmth of heart and connection within each person. In that moment, Claire found her strength fully restored. As the clamor of laughter engulfed her, she turned to Jonah, her resolve renewed. Let us make this happen. Together. And that's when she felt it, a flicker of magic, not just in the halls of the community center, but with every soul surrounding her. From that day forward, Claire knew that they would face each challenge head-on. They would build something so beautiful it would withstand anything life threw their way. The real transformation had begun, and Claire's heart radiated with promise, hope for a brighter tomorrow rooted firmly in community. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help us reach more hearts. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this uplifting ending. And don't wait not even 1 more second. Share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this inspiring transformation. Together, we can spread hope and love, one story at a time.